My team are on my supposedly about 4.5 years now, about 5 years, somewhere in that direction.
Who's Larry?
Larry Pritchett's county health nurse.
Okay.
Who has, you know, made me, I don't know how many promises that he was working on a housing, some kind of a housing thing. From which, you know, I already had one issued to me some 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
In that event of time, Larry has managed to look into no records of mine, you know, no promises or even meetings or appointments that he's about ever made has ever shown up on, or you know, or at least turned around and told me, you know, oh sorry, but we just feel like dumping you out the window now.
Yeah. And you have diabetes, correct?
I have diabetes and severe, horrible conditions because I cannot take care of myself. I cannot get my insulin or my, well, I'm on metformin pills, which is diabetes 1, I guess. It took them almost 2 years to give me give me my insulin pills after they knew I had after they knew I was a diabetic. Larry has you know, been there like on almost a regular basis for me over this entire time, and from which I have only ever collected 1.5 months of general relief from him in the whole entire almost 5-year time. I haven't had any money whatsoever, manner, shape, or form in that long a period of time. I've been kicked out of all of the hospitals in the general area after a 30 or 40-day stay, of which they did nothing but, you know, put antibiotics in me. Of course, when you're a diabetic, that's the last thing you want, because when they stop working, you stop having you stop coming home from the hospital. And so anyway, basically what it has been just one big joke after another. They have never given me an evaluation of my situation, which from Kaiser Permanente, let's say 7 years prior to this date, I had for about 7 or 8 years. In that amount of time, they managed to, let's see, the first thing Kaiser Permanente did was forget to tell me that I had several major things wrong with me for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I went in for, you know, I got my insurance going, everything was good. So I went in and had them do a complete physical on me, went to a bunch of different specialists who all had something, you know, terribly wrong with me to bring to the attention of my doctor, Mrs. Spizzeri at Kaiser Permanente, which in fact she failed to tell me for about 2 years. I called up one day and said, hey, I still feel pretty bad about this, you know. Is there any way you guys could have missed some of this, you know? Like, I mean, I still feel kind of shitty and I don't know why, you know. The nurse goes, okay. She gets in the record, she starts looking up, she goes, oh my God, you need to come in right now. And I pulled the phone away from my ear and I was like, what are you talking about, you know? She goes, there's all kinds of shit wrong with you. No, look, I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, there's all kinds of shit wrong with you. You need to get in here right now. And I was like, oh, gee, and how long is this, 2 years later? She goes, just get in here right now. There's all kinds of shit wrong with you and you need to get in here right now. Drop what you're doing and get in here. And so I went in there, you know, and she's like, oh, well, gosh. And I was like, what do you mean, gosh? You know, what the shit fell under the desk, you kicked it under there, and the guy cleaning the floor never saw it for 4 years, 2 years, or whatever? What's wrong with you? The computer would have flagged this, you know? So why am I finding out about this 2 years later?
Wow.
She's like, oh, I'm awful sorry, and the blah, 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 this and that and the other thing, and I was just like, you know, can you guys just fix me up here and not let me die?
Wow.
So anyway, about a month after that, I started bleeding from the inside. I lost about half of my blood.
Wow.
And when I finally got into the hospital, the doctor says, Roger, why didn't you take care of these things that were wrong with you? I mean, you've known about them for 2 years. And I said, no, I haven't known about them for 2 years. I've known about them for a month. And he said, what? He goes, that's what's caused this, Roger. That's what caused this. What you had caused this to happen. And, you know, you could have died. You could die, you know? And I'm like, well, I just found out about a month and a half ago. And he goes, oh, my God. Runs down there, gets a lady from the administration office, brings her up there. All I could, you know, I was just like, lady, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I go, I got 2 days of insurance paid for. And after that, this room's $450 a day, and I can't afford it. And she said, don't you worry about a thing. You ain't never going to pay for nothing again, period. And I spent 39 days in the hospital. I never paid a dime or received a bill yet. Since then, Kaiser managed to find some kind of a bone in my neck that's been floating around in there for a while. Refused to treat it. At the end of my stay, at the job I had, after 7 years of being there, last few days I was there, they sent me to a specialist. I walked in the specialist's office. He said, well, excuse my French, but you're kind of, you know what? I said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, that thing in your neck. He goes, I can't believe she never did anything to help you with this whatsoever.
Wow.
He said, one time she gave me 2 shots in the shoulder. That was it. He goes, well, this thing has advanced to the point of where we can't operate on it now, and it's going to be painful, and you're going to have to deal with it because that's it.
Yikes.
And they put me on 1 day of therapy. I went in there, I did a day of therapy. I came back out, and then my insurance was over when I lost my job. So,
and you used to have a voucher, right, of some sort to get into housing. They just haven't.
yeah, after about 2 years of being around Larry, after a couple of years of them saying they were going to send somebody around to see me, who never showed up, all of a sudden this Stephanie shows up. Police department drives me around with her and introduces her as the liaison for the homeless people.
Who does she
and
work
blah,
for?
blah, blah.
Does she work for CityNet?
She worked for Mercy House.
Oh, Mercy House, okay.
Yeah, and who was supposed to get me my disability, my housing voucher going, and the whole 9 yards, because I was incredibly
Bad shape.
horrible shape.
Yeah.
I was going to the hospital with some kind of major infection in my body every 3 months, usually because I couldn't get insulin.
Yeah.
I would go to my doctors. The doctor would tell me, well, you got to go do this. I'd go do that. And some person at the doctor's office who wasn't a doctor would tell me I had a script over here and I couldn't get there because I didn't have no transportation. And it was just been one freaking nightmare after another. And I even went and got normal everyday people to help me out with the situation, because I thought that, this must be insane. These people must be insane. How do they expect anybody to go do anything when you don't have anything to do it with?
Yeah, right.
And the cops are chasing you around every time you turn the corner. They're jumping on you, writing you some kind of ticket for digging in the garbage can. I mean, to get paid $1,200,000 a month. Every month from these cities to chase people around out of the garbage can because they're hungry, tired, or cold. And I just don't. I'm like, and they're going to, and you got to go to court. How the hell are you supposed to go to court?
I know. It's
how the hell are you supposed to go do time and come back and not have everything you own gone? Every day they hunt you down like there's no tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
They don't go do that to anybody else, anywhere else, for any other reason. They hang out right where everybody normally, like we would hang out. That's all they do, is drive around it like the Indians around the wagon train. It's like, oh my God, what can they expect? If you ain't profiling us, then I don't know what is, man.
Lots of selective enforcement.
You know what? Everybody else is okay, and just because we're homeless, we're some kind of fucking disease. You need to keep corralled. Come on, that's like, it's unbelievable. I got so many tickets, I can't count them all. I'm serious. I was standing in front of Los Colondrinos down there in Capo Beach one day at 9 o'clock. I walked out of the Dollar Tree, made a left, walked over there. Guy come up, put some bread and stuff on the table, said, I bought this for you guys, We were just standing there. All of a sudden, here comes this cop, Mers. He's like famous for taking everybody out, Pulls up, jumps out, writes me a ticket for standing there for loitering. No, trespassing. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He goes, don't you see the sign? I said, you mean the one that's in front of Dollar Tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that one, but I don't see one over here.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're still telling me I can't make a left-hand turn when I walk out of the store?
Yeah.
Because I'm crossing, I'm on the sidewalk, and you're telling me it's their property? I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I think the sidewalk is the sidewalk, and the property is their property. I still had to pay for price for it. I still had to go to court, do a couple days in jail for it.
Yeah.
You name it.
Well, tell us your name again.
Roger.
Roger. Thank you for sharing. Anything else you want to share?
That ought to be more than enough to
That's
start
a lot.
with.
That's a lot. And I was homeless for over 10 years as part of my ministry, so I know firsthand what it's like. I know exactly what you've gone through.
There's this place
it's
called
awful,
Illumination Foundation.
Yeah.
The hospital, after I brought it up to their attention that, you know, when you guys are throwing me out of here, my legs are still swelled up the size of basketballs. I cannot walk, I have nowhere to go, and I don't know which way to turn. And I've been working my whole life. I already have my 40 points. You know, I started working when I was 13 years old. And, you know, I'm just like, I don't get this. You're like, you guys, I can't walk. The bottoms of my feet are like burnt right off. And, you know, I don't understand why you're throwing me out of here. It's, you know, it's against the law to somebody out in the middle of the street, I think, isn't it? They said, oh, well, we already looked all over and nobody wants to take you. And I said, well, why don't they want to take me? What is the problem? I don't think it's right for you to throw me out there, because you know, without a little bit of attention afterwards, I'm going to come right back in here, just like I've been doing every time I turn around. And they said, okay, well, they put me they gave me Illumination Foundation, get me a house or a motel room over in off that Mile of Cars thing down in Buena Vista or something like that. I go over there, I get out of the car, and I can't walk, so they help me over to the room. I'm in there with this guy who's a heart patient. He just got out of the hospital too. He had a heart attack and whatnot. I come in there, and the lady brings me up things, said, this is your bed. There was 2 beds inside the room. Here's your bed, here's your refrigerator. And then, you know, we'll get together with you if you get your pills and stuff like that. And, you know, there'll be a nurse here. I get in there, I get set in, I look at the bags, and there's 2 bags of nothing but sugar. I have no insulin pills. And I'm like, I can't eat this, you know, I'll die, you know. So anyway, needless to say, about 7 days later, we finally contact somebody. For those 7 days, no one was there. No nurse to change bandages, no nurse to give us our insulin, our pills, or anything. And that included me and the heart patient guy. That included me and the heart patient guy. On the 7th day, we finally managed to get a hold of somebody through the Illumination Foundation that was you know, I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing something. Well, sure the hell wasn't taking care of us, but you know, he had had a heart attack. He could have died right there on the spot. He didn't have his pills. Nothing he had, you know. Wow. So they called us up and they said, well, I said, you know, you guys, I've been in bed for 5 days. I can't get out of bed. My legs are so swollen up, I can't walk to the bathroom. So I've been urinating in these bottles, putting them on the side over here because I don't know what else to do. None of my bandages have been changed. I have no insulin and I got nothing but sugar. And I want to hear what you got to say. He says, well, can you find somewhere to go for the holidays?
Wow.
I was like, what? I go, did you hear this? My roommate. I go, he wants us to go find somewhere to go for the holidays, Dad, because he doesn't have enough staff to come down here and take care of us. I said, well, I'm sure you're charging whoever this is as if you did. I mean, you didn't tell them to go out and find somewhere else to hang out and give them some money to. So, you know, I don't get it. You left all of us sitting in these motel rooms, no aid, no care, no pills, no medicine, no aid, nothing for 7 days, and now you want us to, over Thanksgiving, go find somewhere to go?
Wow.
I said, I really do not believe this.
Yeah.
And so that was the case. So I found somewhere to go. On the following Friday after Thanksgiving, I called him back and said, well, I want to come back now because you know, these people are done giving me a place to stay. And they said, oh, okay, well, call me back on Saturday.
Yeah.
I said, no, they want me out today. I said, call me back on Saturday. So I called them back on Saturday. They said, well, we're going to call you in 2 hours and tell you which room we want you to go to when we get there. He never called back.
Wow.
Just plain didn't do it. And then every time I went to the hospital after that, I said, what about the Illumination Foundation? When I got out, because I still couldn't walk, they said, oh no, you can't go back there because you gave them a hard time.
Wow.
I said, I gave them a hard time? I was a guy laying in bed for 7 days, couldn't get out of bed to go to the bathroom, and you weren't around. Nobody was.
Trying to survive, and that's giving you a hard time.
Trying to keep from going to getting infected again.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Dude, I get infections like you would not believe.
Yeah, I bet.
My whole body gets fucking wiped out.
Yeah. Well,
You know, and I can't even get these guys to give me my insulin.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know how many times I was turned away going to, you know what, the only place that ever gave me the insulin is when I went to Rite Aid or I went to Walmart. They actually gave me a prescription without a doctor's thing. He said, I can't refuse you insulin.
Yeah, wow.
If you came here and said you were out today, I'd have to give you some no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I am. And those pharmacists saved my ass so many times it wasn't funny, because they actually gave me 4-day supply.
Thank God.
Or a 5-day supply when I needed it.
Wow, that's great.
And the rest of the doctors that I had actually just wouldn't even return my calls or nothing.
It's terrible.
And it's been that way for almost 7 years now.
Wow. Well, thanks so much for sharing. I got to wrap this up now, but I really appreciate your time, and we're going to try and hopefully get some changes happening. So thanks for sharing. We're looking to do maybe some investigating. Hopefully maybe contact you again too.
Find out what happened to my housing voucher.
Yeah, we can maybe try and figure that out.
For some reason, Larry and Stephanie ended up with that housing voucher.
Yeah.
Before I did, and before I knew it.
Yeah.
And then when I went up there to get it, that lady had enough gall to go ahead and give one to me.
Yeah.
After I came up with a Social Security card.
Yeah.
And a birth certificate.
Wow.
And I was like, I wonder how these people got it before me.
Yeah.
I'm still wondering that. That just boggles my mind.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up and we'll get your information. See what we can do.
Call them up. Find out what happened to it and how it ended up in their hands and not mine before I got it.
Well, thanks for
supposedly, since they don't even know who these people are.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, my friend. Please share the video. Do join Homeless Advocates for Christ on Facebook. We're here in San Clemente. There's as you can see here, a camp. I'm not gonna film too much of it here, but a lot of people here. Over how many people you say is in here? About 60. How many people are in here?
On a given day, around 50 probably.
About 50? 40, 50? Yeah, about 60 folks. So across the street here, you see some pretty nice houses up here. A little bit of conflict. We've got a city council meeting today. We're going to be going to speak for the homeless, and these types of situations are happening all the time. We know. So please share the video. Do join Homeless Advocates for Christ on Facebook, and pray we can really make a difference. And may God bless you. You seek first His kingdom always. Thanks so much for your prayers and support. Bye-bye.